joining us, we have Teresa Lee, and we are going to be talking with her about the Adventures of Don Quixote. This is a play that's opening tomorrow night. The Appalachian Young People's Theater is putting this on, and it sounds like it's going to be a great performance.
It is. It's a lot of fun, and I think one of the things that's most exciting about this is that you can bring the whole family.
Right.
Oftentimes, particularly with theater and some of the, more adult offerings, it's not appropriate to bring children.
Right.
But this is designed specifically for children and young audiences, but there's something in it for, mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, anybody that, would like to come, make it a family event.
Very cool. Now talk with us a little bit about the history behind this play. It's actually based on a novel, correct?
It is. It's based on the classic novel Don Quixote by Cervantes, and which you said you read in high school.
I did. I read this book in high school, and I actually read it in Spanish, so I may need to come to the play to make sure that I fully understood it.
That's
Not very
it,
good
exactly. It's pretty impressive to hear you say that,
Yeah.
But the novel itself, of course, is an adult novel, more so than for children, and but there are elements in it that are really, really appropriate for for child audiences, particularly with this adaptation. The author has really sort of captured the parts of the story that I think appeal to the child in all of us. The fact that the character Alonso Quijano reads all these wonderful stories about knights errant and all their adventures and going off and slaying dragons and all of that, and so we all sort of have those fantasy adventures, and so in the story we really focus on fighting the windmills and the dragons, and there's a little part where he runs into the Dark Knight of Mirrors, and so there's a little sword fight in there that I think will be exciting for young audiences in particular.
Definitely. Now tell us a little bit about Don Quixote. He's quite a character.
He is. Like I said, he's, as in the original novel, the script does stay true to the fact that his original name is Alonso Quijano, and he begins to read all the stories about the knights, and then he wants to become a knight himself. So he dubs himself Don Quixote, and he elicits the help in this particular case of his little sidekick, Kendrick. He's a stable boy, unlike the original story, and he names him Sancho, and Sancho rides with him, and they go off to see what kind of adventures they can find so that he can become a real knight. And so that's really the gist of the story, and what the adventures that unfold in our particular production literally come right out of the book. We have a giant book on stage, and the characters come from the pages of the book.
How
quite
neat is
literally,
that?
they walk right straight out of the book.
Wow.
So the emphasis is on reading for young audiences, to say reading is a great thing, and that it can also spur the imagination.
Definitely.
And so there is that sort of curricular learning connection there as well, even though this wouldn't quite be on their reading list that, for elementary or middle school, but certainly the elements that are extracted out of the original story are very appealing to that age.
Now, if we have not already convinced you guys that you have to go and see this play, we actually are going to show you a little clip to get you even more excited about heading out to see it this weekend. So go ahead and take a look at this scene from Don Quixote.
We must go now. We must save her.
Save who? Where?
My sweet Dulcinea, of course.
Sir, I think you are confused. Perhaps you should lie down again. You had quite the fall.
No, Sancho, this is no time for naps. We must find the Dark Knight and save the fair Dulcinea.
Dark Knight? Save who? Where?
Sancho, we must think clearly. This is no time for games. We may have lost our steed, but we have a faithful mule to lead us on. Come, Sancho, on to the next castle. We must find the Dark Knight.
Sir, but I must tell you, there is no Dulcinea. And those were not giants. They were windmills. And what is this talk of a dark night? Some kind of wild goose chase?
Oh yes, you're right. We do need food. And rest. There should be a castle nearby where we can spend an evening. The dark night is tricky and will be hard to spot until morning. Come, Sancho, let us go.
Castle? But there are no castles. Fine.
Sancho, do you mind? This is rather a small mule.
So I have to walk?
It should only be a few miles to the next castle. Hurry now.
Yes, sir. Better get a great big island from doing all this. Oh,
Now, it seems like people are going to laugh a little bit if they come out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a poignant part in the play that I don't want to give away because there's a little bit of a twist that's not in the original story.
Okay.
So I think on that level, it's a great story, and of course it's a student production, and the students were student acted, and students were responsible for building the sets and the costumes. So it's a great program within the Department of Theater and Dance at ASU. That it's a great learning experience on all levels.
Absolutely. Now, tell us when and where these performances are going to be.
Well, it's going to be in Greer Studio Theater on campus, and that's on the east side of campus, and you can park on River Street or anywhere around the east side of campus. It's at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and it's at 2 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. So you can come out, spend an hour. The show lasts only 45 minutes, so and tickets are $10 for adults and $5 for children and students. And the number to call for tickets is 828-262-3063. That's the Valborg ticket office, or the Schaefer Center box office is also handling tickets, and they're open today and tomorrow 9 to 5. So give them a call.
Sounds great.
It's cheaper than a movie.
Yes.
And a live
Sounds like-
experience.
Yeah, it's going to be very entertaining to come and watch. Well, thank you so much for coming in to talk with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Great to be here with you. Thank you.
And don't forget, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 chances to catch this great performance. And we will be back right after these messages with more of the Mountain Television Network.